Yay! I think we're live. Awesome. Okay, I see so many of you on already. I am so excited to finally get back to our Monday night Bombshell Dynasty call, and I wanted to be the one that kicks it off because we have had a long hiatus since we've had Monday night calls. We moved them to daytime, and I know that it did not work for near as many people as it did at night. And to tell you the truth, like I've missed the fact that I am so fired up after Monday nights that I literally get like a week's worth of work done after I get off the call. So I want to be able to start our week off productive. I want to be able to spend some time with you guys. I miss, the culture and engagement that we once had. And I know that as our team got larger, it was harder and harder to be able to keep that close-knit feeling. But to me, that is the most important number one priority that I have right now in my business is to bring us back to the basics, to remember why we do this to start, to remember what this team stood for from the beginning back in 2010 when I started from a little baby, minute, just me team, just like I'm sure a lot of you guys are still, or maybe you have a team of just a few. I started right where you are, and I think it's really important for you to understand kind of the steps that I had taken to get to that point. And I purposely named this call The Fortunes in the Foundation because I really find that people tend to overcomplicate this business. They overthink, they over-strategize, they over-learn, and I really, for me as a coach, as a brand new coach, being completely clueless as to what I was doing, kind of look back now and I'm like, I did things the right way. Not that I did everything correct and not that I didn't make mistakes, because my gosh, I so did. But I'm going to teach you just some of the things that I had done right, some of the things that really came naturally that I think that this business, people do overthink, that if you just let it become more natural, it'll actually seem and be a lot easier. And then some of the mistakes that I have made that I know many of my leaders have made and that I want you to be able to avoid so that you can move along the path a lot quicker. Because I'm telling you right now, this is a business that can completely change every aspect of your life. And I know this because I've experienced it in my own life. I know this because I look around. I just had a baby 6 months ago. And I look around at the lifestyle that we've had. My husband didn't get to be around with our first baby. The first year and a half, 2 years, he was working tons and tons of hours to try and keep our family afloat. And to see him with her now, just an intricate part of every part of her day, has been such a blessing for me. And so I want to be able to, one, give you a big vision. I want to go back to how the Bombshell Dynasty began and kind of take you through the process of becoming what is now, the biggest, most successful team in all of Beachbody. So applause to you. 1 second, I'm going to go into my slides and I'll try and pop back and forth because I do like the fact that, you're on video, you can see somebody's facial expressions and things like that. But I'm a big visual learner, so I always have to have slides. Okay, and just so you know, I know that it can get to where you can't see all the words of the slides. I promise you I will post these in all of our groups for you to be able to look over. All right, so those of you who have any type of audio problems, whatever, the same link that you use to get on this call actually becomes the recording. So you can always go back and listen at any point. So I'm gonna block the chat because otherwise I'll look at it. All right, so first things first. Like I said, I started with this company in July of 2010, and I had no clue what I was doing. I actually stumbled upon it, and I ended up calling into Beachbody to see if they had a referral program, because when I had started, I was doing P90X after I had my first daughter, London, who's now 8 years old. And at the time, London was a preemie. And so it's not like I could just drop her off at a gym and go work out, but every aspect of my life at that point was completely out of control. We were losing our house to foreclosure. I was 25 years old, had about $400,000 worth of medical debt. I was bartending at the time, trying to make ends meet, but it was not happening. I had like a pile of bills just stacking up and stacking up. And The one thing I thought, okay, maybe I'll feel like myself again is if I get in shape again. If I feel like me, if I look like me again, I'll start to feel like me again. And so I ended up buying P90X off the payment plan on an infomercial and totally thought, you know what, I probably just bought into a scam. But I said, if it doesn't work, I'm gonna blast them all over YouTube. And if it does, I'll blast them all over YouTube in a positive way. And so I started my journey, failed literally, and I'm gonna speed through all this because this is like back end. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard it. But I failed 3 times until the 4th time when I finally drew a line in the sand and I said, you know what, I've got to stop beating myself up over the fact that I can't keep up with these people in the video and just go into it trying to beat my own personal best. And so my first day, I did 10 minutes. And the second day, I did 12 minutes. And the third day, I did 13. And I would just try and beat my own personal record. And after doing that with a completely imperfect journey, I missed days, I messed up sometimes. Even still, after those 3 months, 90 days, I was in the best shape of my entire life. And that was post having a baby. And so I was obviously convinced. I had made some videos along the way for accountability on YouTube and was not a coach at that point. And I called into Beachbody because I started getting emails from women saying, oh my gosh, you're the reason why I just bought P90X. And I'm so excited. I'm already seeing results. They would ask questions like, which program did you do? Did you do the classic version or the lean version? Or, you know, what did you do with your daughter while, you know, you were working out? And so I would write these people back, and I was so excited to be able to, 1, know that I had inspired someone to do something positive in their life. That felt pretty good, especially after being a bartender. And 2, I really just felt like, wow, this is holding me accountable, and they're actually going and changing their life for the better by me just focusing on myself and changing myself. So ended up calling into Beachbody, and they said they had a referral program called coaching where I could pay $40 and become a distributor, making 25% commission off anything I sold. And I didn't know about the networking side of things at that point. But I just think of it at that point, it was such a natural progression for me to come into coaching because I was sharing my journey out loud. I was focusing on my own personal self, the obstacles that I had, the mindsets that were not serving me that I was having to break, and that I naturally encouraged other people to start, even complete strangers. And that's really what started my whole realization, like, oh my gosh, I bet those strangers that had written me back in the day have probably gotten further in the program at this point and inspired other people to start. And now those people have started, and they've probably gotten other people to start. And so my mind started racing when I figured out the network marketing side of this and thought to myself, well, 2 things. 1, holy crap, I hate network marketing. I never would want to be a part of something like that. They're all a bunch of scams. But then I remembered I used to think P90X was a scam, and I gave it a shot anyway. And so I told myself, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to treat other people how I would want to be treated. I'm not going to do anything schemy, and I'll just see what happens. And so lo and behold, little by little, it started to build. But I want to show you guys what I think people think our business model is and kind of what it's become as of the last few years. And it's kind of funny because a few years back when we started doing all kinds of training, I think we were trying to simplify it. We really were. We were trying to make it easier on you guys. We wanted to have all this amazing training available and just to have answers to every single possible question that you could possibly have. And we didn't have that at the time. We were just kind of like, okay, get in, you know, start a challenge, invite a couple people to join along with you, hit Success Club, and that was it. I mean, there was no real training. Like when you get in with Scotty Hobbs or with Shay Stanford or Katie Hefner, or Lindsay Stay, these people that are like superstar coaches now, they didn't have, or we didn't have, any of this incredible training that you guys now have access to. However, I honestly believe as I start to reevaluate things, it's made it into this this crazy, overwhelming idea of like, holy crap, do I have to watch all of these before I get started? Because what if somebody has a question and I don't have the answer? And what if one of my coaches wants to know something and I don't know what to tell them? I have to go and watch all these videos before I get started. I cannot get moving until I know and understand fully where to place my 12th coach, you know? And I think I look at that now and I think it's almost paralysis by analysis. And I took this picture. What I typed in to get this picture was rocket science, because I really think that people start to view this as that's what it is. Guys, remember where I started, okay? No experience, no money to put into this business, no network. I literally had 92 friends on my Facebook. I actually just looked at a picture earlier while I was making this slide to see that. I used to get 2 to 3 likes on a picture. I didn't have any credibility. I had started and quit so many things in my life that no sane person that actually knew me would ever sign up with me at that point. And I had results by the time I got into the coaching part of it, but nobody really was dying to get into my business side. They were cool with the fitness side because I had shown proof with that, but nobody was dying to get into my business. And so I think as I look back and say, okay, what worked for me? Truth is, I just kind of decided to roll with it. And I decided to go based on what would I want other people to do with me. The golden rule of treating other people how I would want to be treated. And when I didn't know the answers, I Googled it. I stalked other coaches. I saw what they were saying. And then at the end of the day, just asked myself, if this was my objection or if this was my question, what would I be looking to hear? And what is the truth that I know of so far? And that's it. I didn't have anybody to bounce it off of. And so I honestly look back and I think, gosh, you know what? As crazy as that was and as scary as it was to roll with it, it actually served me because I didn't sit there and look at all the training and think, oh gosh, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to get started with this. But I do understand what you're saying, guys. I do understand that feeling because I remember getting my P90X box and I opened it and I looked at there was 3 different meal plans and there was measuring tape and there was an explanation on how to measure and then there was the workouts and 13 different DVDs. And I remember being overwhelmed by that. And I also remember getting my coach box in the mail. And I remember opening it and there was back then, guys, we got a hat, we got what other stuff? Oh, pins and stuff like that. Anyway, I opened it, I looked at all the contents in it and I was like, ooh, not right now. And that box, that coach box, sat underneath my desk for, I think it's from October till July of 2010. So 9 months, I just sat there and I had no idea what was sitting underneath my desk. And you know what I told myself is, I'm too busy right now. I need to go find something that actually is going to help me get out of this debt. Little did I know that thing is sitting right under my desk. And if I'll just take a look at it and take some action, my life was going to completely change. And I have a feeling that there's people on this call that are kind of experiencing that exact same thing that I experienced 7 years ago. This is sitting in their laps. They signed up. They had the paralysis by analysis moment. They don't know everything yet, so they can't do anything. And they've been sitting on a gold mine of life-changing opportunities. So I'm going to break down our business model, and I already kind of have, so I'll go through it quick. This is our business model. Stick figure number 1 is Lindsay Matway, 2010 or 2009. I want to get back in shape. I'm not feeling good about myself. I need to make some changes. I decide, you know what? I'm going to buy P90X. I buy it. I decide to try it. I fail. I decided to try it again. I fail. I decided to try again. I finally succeed because I start to compete against myself. There's Lindsay sharing her journey passionately because you're proud of yourself when you're doing something good for yourself. It's very natural to be able to share fun things and things that you're doing right. So I'm sharing my journey. I'm not pushing it out to anybody, but I'm just sharing it authentically, posting little posts here and there, sharing it on my YouTube. All of a sudden, Lindsay's feeling pretty darn good because she's finally in the best shape of her life. She's super confident. She's realizing, gosh, if I apply that same mentality of just beating my own personal best in other areas of my life, I bet I could change other areas of my life to be extremely better. So there's somebody else. They start noticing, wow, Lindsay's different. She obviously looks better, but she also is just super positive and she's really seems happy. I really want to get in shape too, but I just don't know if it's going to work for me. Lindsay posts an invite on her Facebook talking about the fact that she's decided to take this little journey that she's been on and be able to share with other people. And she's wanting to look for a couple other people to be accountability partners with her as she goes into round 2. And the person that's been watching me and thinking they want to do the same decides to join along with me. And then bam, we're in a group as accountability partners together going on the journey. And it keeps repeating itself. Now the person number 2 that decided to join, they're seeing the same results. They're feeling the same momentum in their life. They're feeling really positive, excited. They're sharing it naturally because it's exciting to do positive things in your life. And voila, somebody notices. They post something on their Facebook about hosting a group where they're going to be sharing some of the exciting things that they've been doing with their journey and how they've made some lifestyle changes that they want to share with other people. Somebody joins them and it starts to duplicate. Now, I realize it's not always that easy. I realize there's going to be people that say they want to join, but they don't join. And I think that's why it's really important for us to know that we've got to reach out to more than just one or two people, but it's more so, it's really about changes that you're making with yourself. And I think sometimes we forget what we're inviting people to, so we hold back. But truthfully, when I thought about it today, I was like, okay, what do we offer people? We offer them to make healthy changes that will give them confidence and make them feel amazing. We give them a tribe to support and encourage them, because we all know it's much easier to do it and way more fun to do it with other people that are doing the same things. And then number 3, they can even have an opportunity for income and significance. I know for me, this is just as much of a significance journey as it has been an income journey, to be able to pay that forward and earn an income for their family. So, one second, water. So I decided to create a new checklist of some things that you guys could be doing. And like I said, I will post this in the group. But to me, these are the things that every coach should be doing daily. And it really is a simple list, and it's really a list of you against yourself. Nobody else can determine whether or not you do these things, and they really do create the momentum that you're going to be having. So number 1, that you got your scheduled workout in and you drink your shake. Now, if today's your rest day, you don't have to worry about that part of it, but you can drink your shake. That you spent 20 minutes fueling your mind with personal development. And that can be via a book, that can be YouTube, this team call can count, a podcast. For me, I find pockets throughout my whole day to be able to listen to something positive. When I'm doing my workout, I'm listening to a personal development on YouTube. If I'm putting on makeup, I'm listening to a personal development or a podcast. Lately, I'll be honest, I cannot find time to sit down and read a book, just with the newborn and stuff. So I found an alternative for the time being to be able to listen to those YouTubes and podcasts. And for YouTube, all I do is I find people that speak to me. So a couple of my favorites are Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Brene Brown, Brendan Burchard. And then they kind of lead into other ones. The awesome thing about YouTube is that you can put it on autoplay and it'll find other people. I didn't even know who Les Brown was, sadly, until all of a sudden one of my Tony Robbins videos switched to him. And I was all of a sudden like on a different speed in my workout, because this guy was just such a powerful force in the way that he talked. And so I have found that the YouTube stuff is 1, free, 2, convenient in the timing of it. A lot of them are 20 to 30 minutes. It's perfect for my workout or to do my makeup, and just really, really overall convenient. Number 3, that you're engaged in adding value on your social media. So you need to be saying like, heck yeah, I'd want to follow myself. You know, like if I were somebody out there, if I were a complete stranger and I came across my profile, I would be interested. I would be curious as to what I'm all about and who I am and what I do for a living. And if you can't say that about your social media, then obviously there's an overhaul, which we're going to talk about in the next slide. Number 4, checked into my groups. This can be your challenge group, your coach page, your coach online office. Those 3 should be like a non-negotiable. And if you are not yet running your own challenge groups, if your coach is being so nice as to allow you to be in their challenge group, you better be the most active challenger in that thing. Because I promise you, what you put out or what you put in, you'll get out. And what will happen is you'll naturally become ready to be able to run your own group. And eventually having your coaches, your future coaches in your groups as apprentice coaches, what you do duplicates. So if you're not bringing the energy and you're waiting for someone else to bring it, I promise you, it's not going to serve you. That's a habit that's not going to serve you. Number 5, added 3 to 5 people to my network that I would love to know more about. I think this is really important because I think this is one that, just like personal development, kind of gets skipped over. And this is something that I slacked at one point, and I realized, holy crap, this is why I'm having such a hard time finding people that are like me. It's because I was not being intentional when I was adding people, I was kind of like doing it out of obligation because I knew I was supposed to. So I would quickly go into a group and friend request 3 people just as fast as I could without thinking, okay, is this somebody that, seems like they're in the same stage of life as me? So it seems like somebody that's naturally engaged in social media. Seems like somebody who is the kind of coach that I want to attract, or the kind of customer that I'd be excited to get to know and work with. And now since my friend list got like a lot leaner, I only had a few spots remaining. I suddenly all of a sudden got very particular about who I was looking for. And there would be people that I would go to their profiles and like they said something negative, or they're like really political, or whatever the case might be, something that just didn't fit in with who I am. When before I would have friend request that person, now I'm like, no, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna keep looking. I will tell you guys, this is the first time in your entire life you're gonna get to hand select the people that you bring into your life. Hand select the people that eventually could be your closest friends. Hand select your business partners. Be picky. I don't care if you are a brand new coach, you don't have anybody underneath you. If negative Nancy that is, super bratty comes to you and is like, I want to be a coach, but you really you cringe every time that person is around, don't sign them up. I don't care if it gets you to Emerald. You want people that are like you. You want people who are becoming the kind of person that you're trying to become. So be intentional with that. Number 6, I think this is 6. Re-engage with a few old friends and start combos with a few new ones. And I say a few, meaning 3 to 5 for the most part. It's really key on social media that you are staying engaged with the people that you already have on your friends list. If you have 1,000 people on your friends list, or maybe let's do even lower number. If you have 200 people on your friends list right now, all 200 are not seeing your posts. I know this might be a shocker, but your dad and mom typically are seeing your posts because they have about 20 friends. But most people on social media at this point have a few hundred, if not more. And the way that Facebook works, or any social media really, is the ones that you engage with most are the ones that are popping up. And so therefore, if you want these people to be able to see your posts, you've got to first re-engage with them so that you can build that affinity with that person again. And obviously people care about people who care about them. So if you're the kind of person who's just showing up with a blanket cold invite saying, hey, I haven't talked to you since middle school, but I didn't know if it would be something you would join, but I have this challenge group. No, that's not going to work. You have to re-engage with that person and get to start the conversation about them first and foremost, and then let your Facebook posts do this explaining for you. It could eventually lead into a challenge group post, or a post about a free group, or an invite to coaching, but don't start it out with the intention of that. Same thing goes with a new friend. And then lastly, recognize challengers and coaches in some sort of way. Doesn't have to be anything specific. You can come up with the fact that you have a crush on one of the coaches in your downline because they're just kicking butt and you love the way that she posts, or by pointing out a post that you really loved of hers. Or if you don't have any posts, guess what? You're on one of the biggest teams in all of Beachbody. I guarantee you'll find somebody to compliment. I just think it's a super important habit to get in the habit of. Next, and this is the one I know that I'm going to get a lot of people saying, I can't see the words. I apologize. I couldn't get to be any larger. I promise I will post it in the group. So building your brand with consistency and intention. I will ask you this, and I want you to answer honestly. Would you want you as a coach? And I know for me at points in my journey, the answer would have been no. And that was when I was making excuses. That's when I was kind of doing what I wanted to do versus what I needed to be doing. And I think the more that we kind of take that phrase and we self-check ourselves, the more successful we're going to become. So knowing your audience is really, really important. There's an actual entire team call by Katie Hefner. It's called The Greatest Team Call Ever. And if you go into YouTube and you type in Katie Hefner, greatest team call ever, or best team call ever, or something like that, it'll pop up and it will walk you through the steps to creating what we call your coach avatar, or your ideal coach or customer. And I will tell you, it was such a game changer for myself, such a game changer for so many of the coaches back in the day when Katie introduced us to this method that she learned from Marie Forleo. it is so important and so much easier to come up with posts when you know who specifically you are speaking to. So for me, for example, my niche is specific to moms, 25 to 35 years old, into fashion and beauty, looking to grow the relationship with God, big dreamer, and wants to make an impact in the world. My content revolves around what do they want more of? Answering these questions. What do they want more of? What objections might they have? What are they passionate about? What are their fears? What do they struggle with? What do they enjoy learning? And if you'll notice, in my building my dynasty, I have attracted a lot of those type of moms. Now, not everybody is a mom. Not everybody is a girl. So I've attracted a multitude of people, but there are things about those people, even the ones that are not moms, that I attracted based on being very specific on who I was talking to, that big dreamer, or the person that wants to make that impact, or the person that wants to grow closer to God. And so by knowing who I am and what is really important to me, I've been able to fine tune my message to be able to speak to the people I'm looking to speak to. And then I have this example post schedule. I'm not going to worry about going over it, but I will share it in the group just to give you an idea of coming up with a game plan when it comes to posting. Because I think if you always leave it to the moment, that's when you run out of things to post. We were talking in our diamond group yesterday. I saw them posting about, I have a really boring life and I don't really do anything much different every single day. And trust me, I work from home with a 6-month-old and my 8-year-old, and as amazing as our life is, and I would not change a single thing, it's pretty much the same every day. And I did that by design. And a lot of people would love to have that be their life every single day. So don't overthink that part of it, but it is about adding value. All right, I'm gonna skip to this one first. This is something I've been talking about a lot, it seems like, with my coaches on my one-on-one calls. And basically it's them saying, yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I just don't want to get judged. And I feel like if I talk more about coaching, or if I really talk about what I'm doing, that, people will just think I'm silly, or, I'll get judgment, I'll get an email about it if I invite or whatever. And what I usually go back to is weighing your why against your fears. So I want you to imagine a scale such as this, and on one end is the fear, and I put Regina George there from Mean Girls because it's exactly what the fear is, and what they might think of you, versus on the other end of the scale, what your why is, the focus on what you could possibly make possible for the people that you care most about is most likely something to do with your why. For me, that was my daughter London, and that was, the potential that at the end of the day, if I didn't change the direction I was going, she was going to go in that same direction. And I come from a crazy upbringing of alcoholics and poverty and all kinds of just not great things. And I knew by filing bankruptcy, I knew by losing it all that I was literally duplicating what my family had done. And I was not going to put up with myself any longer, because I was not going to let that be her inheritance. And so when I would get to the point, and trust me, I did, and I at times still do, would think about what others might think about something that I was putting out there, all I did was think, do I care more about their opinions of me, or do I care more about my daughter's opinions of me when she gets older? And I have to explain to her why I wasn't able to create the life that I wanted to create for us as a family, why her hand-me-downs look a lot like my hand-me-downs. And at the end of the day, she always won. It made it really easy. And I know that's dramatic, when you're thinking about, oh, this is a Beachbody business. It's like some side thing that I'm doing. But to me, this was not a side thing, okay? And to me, I took it very, very seriously. This was my business. This was my way out. And this is something I was worth fighting for. And so for me, anytime that I get in that struggle of that little, voice in the back of your head that tries to talk you out of things, all I do is throw that right back up there. Which one's going to outweigh the other? And the other, my why, always wins. Next. From being the motivator to a motivated magnet. And this is another one on my one-on-one calls recently that has been like the biggest go-to. And that is that people are like, I need help figuring out how to motivate my coaches. Like, I do team calls and I, run challenge groups, and none of them do anything. And I just need to know, how do you motivate your coaches? And for me, my answer is simple. I don't. I lead them by example. I show up for them, but I only match their efforts. So if people are not showing up, like I've had people that don't show up for calls, I'm not going to ever do another call for you until you've proven yourself that you're worthy of that call, because that is time that I could be spending with my family, that I could be spending with my 6-month-old daughter, that I'm not going to get many more 6-month-old daughters, So I think it's really important that you put a value on yourself as the coach, that you only match people's efforts, not their potential. Because trust me, this is the hardest thing for me ever. I still have to learn it. I'm still going through the process sometimes of letting go of some people's potential. But you will not build a business off people's potential. I see everyone as they could be, and it's really, really hard. And I know so many people who have left this business that I knew could be ridiculously successful, and it kills me a little inside. But at the end of the day, I also know so many people that came into this that on the outside, they might have looked like they had no potential, but they had hustle and they had heart and they were willing to do the work, and they have become some of the most inspirational, amazing coaches out there. And so I've learned not to fall too in love with potential and to make sure that people are matching my efforts. I like this quote. I've always liked it, that you can't lead a horse to water. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So you can literally provide everybody or a coach with every single resource, but if it's not ready for that change, even a challenger, if it's not ready for those changes, it's not going to change. And this is something I had to learn from alcoholic parents. And so I'm telling you out of experience of literally doing everything that I possibly could for some people to help them change. When they aren't ready, they will not change. And so all you have to do is bless and release that, and know that your calling is to continue to change yourself and to focus on what you have control over, so that you can be that beacon that other people that are ready to change will be attracted to. It really is, in this business, in my experience, like being a magnet. You attract what you are. And as you change what you attract. And I know what I initially attracted into this business sometimes was leaners, until I decided to take a stance and become a great leader by working on me, because I am the only person that can go through and do this list. I'm the only person that can gauge whether or not I'm going to move forward today or I'm going to move backwards. I can't call every single coach on my team and ask them if they completed the list. And even if I did, they could lie to me. The only person I can be honest with is myself. And so you guys, no matter where you're at in this business, if you want to attract the motivated magnet, the motivated people, you've got to be that motivated person. And you've got to focus your time on the people who are matching your efforts. And if you don't have those people right now on your team, the good news is you have all the time in the world to be completing this over and over and over again until you find those people. Because I promise you, they're out there. I know sometimes it can feel like they're not, especially in the beginning when you don't have a lot of time to create consistency in your network, a lot of time to be able to, add value and find things that you're excited to share. But I promise you, with time, with persistency, with consistency, it does shift. And it really does become about you growing and growing your skill set and growing your reach. All of things that we will be sharing on future calls. So to keep this pretty short, I want to share this funnel. And this goes a little bit with my third slide that I had with the little stick figures. The way that this business works, the simple part of this business, is that you're focused on expanding your network, inviting those people as friends, reconnecting as friends. You're inviting them to, you could invite them to a free group, you could invite them to maybe something that you're doing, sharing healthy Italian recipes. This is something I was talking with a girl earlier today about doing, 5 healthy Italian recipes if you're really good at cooking. Or for me personally, I'm going to be doing something with my daughter since it's the summer, and I know that people that have kids around like 5 till probably 12, their kids want nothing more than probably to sit on their iPods and iPads and play games. But what I'm going to be doing is making London earn iPad time through either learning type stuff like books and things like that, but I'm also going to be doing like workouts with her, doing the kids workouts that are on Beachbody On Demand. And so I'm going to create a group, a community group for moms with those kids of those ages so that I can be able to get to know people at that same stage as me in their life and be able to add value to them and get to know them on that level. And so that's just another way of creating that funnel, that second tier that you see that says invite to a free group. It doesn't necessarily have to be a free group. It can be a community, something to where they can get to know you a little bit better. The next step would be inviting them to a challenge group, and the final step to a sneak peek or business opportunity call so they can become a coach. Literally at all times, these are the different layers of the business that I am pushing people through. And as you see, the funnel gets smaller and smaller. That's because some people just don't fit the mold, and you can't force them. There's no convincing in this business. If you're convincing people, I promise you, you're exhausting yourself. You're being the motivator, quote unquote, versus the magnet. And the ones that are supposed to fall through will, if you follow through on each of those tiers. The good news is that Beachbody is actually doing an expanding your network mastermind group right now. It starts, I believe, tomorrow. And the Beachbody Champions page group on Facebook, if you go in there, there is a Kim Carver, C-I-M Carver, has a link to an event that he's doing, and it's on the Expanding Your Mastermind group. That's what they're going to be, where they're going to be posting all the videos. And they have top coaches lined up to give different examples of how they're using different social media platforms at this point that are working right here, right now. Some of the training that we have out there, that still works, but it's probably not the best if it's 2-3 years old, because social media is constantly changing. So I would highly recommend that as many of you guys as possible go to the Beachbody Champions page, get on there, request to join that event, and then suck in all of the Expanding Your Network mastermind as you possibly can. I believe that they're going to continue to go through each tier so that you guys can learn as you go. One second, I'm going to click off broadcasting. But if any of you guys have ever seen Kim Carver on anything, he is absolutely a genius. We've had him on some team calls before, and he will blow your mind with how easy he makes this business. I wanted to keep this team call simple, simply for the fact that I really do believe we need to go back to the basics. I believe that we have overcomplicated this business and made it into rocket science, and I promise you it's not. Okay, I am not a mastermind genius, and I didn't get here by having a college degree or having some special training. I am just a girl who started to do a workout program, who got results, who shared those results with other people very passionately because I was excited, who then inspired a couple other people to join, and it started to compound over a period of time. Now, you probably can look at your business results and look at your physical results and the way that you feel about Beachbody, and it probably mirrors pretty closely. If it doesn't, it's because you're in the convincing stage and you have tried to drag everyone into this business along with you, and not everybody's meant to be there. So don't get caught up in dragging people. Continue to find new people to speak to, and I promise you they're out there. They are dying for an opportunity like this. Some of you are like me. You have this thing sitting underneath your desk and you've been saying, yeah, I'll do it sometime, but it's really busy right now. Life's, gosh, I got this, I got that, trust me. And the kids are out for summer, blah, blah, blah. Life is never, ever, ever, promise you, never, ever, ever going to stop and clear a path for you to go and pursue something to change your life. It's not gonna happen. It's never gonna happen with a workout program. It's never gonna happen with this. It's never gonna happen with whatever other dreams you have in your life. Not gonna happen. I picked the most inconvenient, in my head, most inconvenient time ever to start this business. I had the most chaos I'd ever experienced in my entire life, losing everything, hiding our car from not getting repoed down the street, losing our home, going in bankruptcy, everything. Worst possible timing, best possible timing. It turned into the best possible timing. Worst possible circumstances, didn't have an upline coach, placed on an inside leg, I've never had a coach placed underneath me from somebody above, blah, 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 blah. Worst possible circumstances, horrible trial turned into an incredible triumph, okay? So God works in mysterious ways, and you have to be willing to just give up the excuses, get rid of them. And actually, okay, can I be honest? There's a slide I took out of here, and I think it needs to be shared. Because I was like, oh, maybe that's a little mean for just getting back to the team call, but I think it's really important. 1 second. Okay. 1 second. I'm going to screen share one last thing, and then we'll be done. So last thing. This is a comprehensive list of everything you're entitled to and what the world owes you. What this business owes you, what your upline owes you, what your team owes you, everything. There's nothing, right? And I think that so often I think of like teenagers with that, you know, that they want everything handed to them. But the truth is, you're not owed anything. What are you gonna do about it? Like, you're given what you've been given. So you can either use it as your excuse, or you can turn that into the greatest testimony ever. My story would suck if I didn't have all the trials that I had. It would suck. Nobody would be happy for me. Nobody would see themselves in me and be like, wow, if she can do it, I can do it too. Like, I am so grateful for those trials. They served me, and they've served you, and they're going to continue to serve the world because I decided not to use them as my excuse. I use them as my purpose. Not to say I never did. So whatever it is in your mind that is stopping you, that's making you hold back, maybe it's the Regina Georges of the world, maybe it's your past, maybe it's what you think people will think of you, whatever. It's a lie that is stopping you from becoming who you are called to become. And I want our Monday night team calls to be your weekly reminder that you are made for more, that you are here for a reason, that nothing happens by chance, and that there's a lot of people out there that are going to see themselves in you if you're brave enough to put yourself out there. And they need someone like you. You might be the only person that they would see themselves in, that would speak to them, and that would cause them to realize, I can do this too. So be that person. Next week, if you are a diamond and above, so how our team calls are going to work is every other week on the first and third Mondays of the month. Those calls are going to be like this. They're going to be open to anyone within the Bombshell Dynasty. If it is a second or a fourth Monday of the month, those are going to be exclusive calls, leadership calls for diamond and above coaches. So you have to be a paid diamond, not a lifetime diamond, paid diamond, current diamond coach. The deal with next week's, and this is a big one, is we have Carl Deichler coming on, and I asked him if he would do a no holds bar, like virtual town hall meeting. I want him to basically shell it out. Actually, we have questions to shell out, you know, like questions about Beachbody On Demand and where things are going, and, you know, volume and all kinds of stuff. Like, we have questions that we are ready to shell out to him, and they are not going to be like pretty versions. We're going to show him, you know, kind of like, have you ever seen President when he takes the, you know, town hall meetings? It's going to be similar to that. And I told him, you know, don't hold back on us either. Like, we're big girls and boys, and we want to hear it the way that you feel as a business person to a business person. You know, you got a multi-billionaire, but we are just as much CEOs of our own business as he is. We are, I view it as like a franchisee. He's the franchisor, and we have questions. So we're going to go live and be able to do a Zoom call where you can get face-to-face with him, ask questions, get answers, and I think it's going to be really, really fun. After that, on the 19th, which would be our general Bombshell Dynasty call, we have Scotty Hobbs, who is my coach and somebody I am so proud of and who he's become. He was the first top 10 coach. I was a male in quite some time, up until Jamie Fitzpatrick, who is currently in Italy on our team. Yes, so that's going to be for diamonds and above, Betsy. He's $1 million earner and a 14-star diamond coach. We also have the following week Miguel Carrasco and then Chase Stanford. So we are not about to slow down. These things are just getting started. I am so proud to call myself a part of the Bombshell Dynasty. I'm so proud to call myself a part of your team. And I'm here to serve you guys. And I hope that you realize that. Like, I want and I work so hard to be able to help you guys realize your dreams. That really is what fuels me at this point. And getting to see you guys rise up and become all that you're called to be is my calling. So however I can serve you guys, I'm gonna work my butt off to do so. And I will see our Diamonds and Above next week at the same time. I'll send out the link in our new Diamond group. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.